But I want to tell you just a little bit about Ben. Ben has a very quirky sense of humor. Those of you that know him know his humor is so quirky that sometimes you don't know if it's funny or not, right? You've run into those. You're like, I'm not sure. I don't know.
This Blackhawks power play is brought to you by chocolate milk. Okay.
College. Turns out more girls really like you when they don't remember your middle school past than when they do. It's amazing how better of a better light you can see people through when you don't know or when you don't remember what they were like in middle school and maybe early high school, and definitely early high school, or even high schools in general too. It's kind of a dark moment in everyone's life. I feel like it's just like you turn 11 and it's still fine, but then when you turn 12, the quality of life that you provide to this earth just tanks into like 0%, actually -%. We need to seclude 12-year-olds from society just in general. They provide no value of life. That's why middle school is made, so then they don't just wreak havoc on the entire planet. They're trapped in cages for about 6 or 7 hours a day, forced to wake up at early times, so then they're tired the rest of the day. It's genius, although it could be more genius. It could lock up the school every day. The lockdown drills in middle school are not for the dangers that come into the school. No, it's to keep the dangers into the school, aka the middle schoolers. But enough about middle schoolers. I'm in college now. We're a 4th floor, no elevator, and you just keep the window open all year round, and it doesn't get colder than about 52 degrees, which is nice. Because once you get used to 52 degrees, it's nice year round. Nice. Oh, yes. It's that winter blood, baby. Oh, that winter blood. You walk outside and it's still kind of warm out, but there's snow on the ground. You feel it. 40 degrees? Man, you might take off that flannel and just start breathing out your arms a little bit. 40 degrees, because you have winter blood, and everything is that cool but kind of warm, you know? You kind of feel... It feels cool outside, but you're warm. You're okay. You feel fine. It's amazing. I recommend keeping your room at 52 degrees. It's easier to go to sleep at night. You can pile up on sheets upon sheets upon sheets and a comforter, and you can just sleep better. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It even feels better when you have internet that actually loads. It is good. I consider myself playing chess with babies in college, and let me explain why. It seems kind of how do I say it, pompous, kind of cocky, kind of arrogant to say I'm playing chess with babies in college. But let me pull up some examples. Kids in college, you can definitely tell the kids by like the first week or so, at least the first week, like the first 3 days, who had their mother tell them everything they needed to do and who didn't, and who kind of shied away from that. Who were the kids who their mothers didn't really tell them that they needed to do laundry, so they just kind of picked up laundry on themselves and learned how to do it. Who were the kids that mother told them, hey, do your laundry, because you have to do it. It's your laundry. And who are the kids who mothers just kind of did their laundry, you know? It starts to show up in college because kids don't know how to do anything. I'm not exaggerating there. Actually, maybe a little bit. They know how to use a washer, but they don't know that a dryer exists.
You know you can't leave them clothes in the washing machine too long when they get done washed and still put them in the dryer. Doing that make the clothes stink.
So you get kids who leave their laundry in the washer for about 3 hours. Trust me, I've been there trying to get my laundry in, doing homework while I'm at it because I'm not stupid and just stare at the washer. Please be done, please come back. Like some kids were. But the worst part of it was, okay, if a washer dryer is broken, you take a sheet of paper from the wall or whatever, and you put it on the dryer and say what's wrong with it. So like, washer doesn't start up. Okay. And then some maintenance guy comes down and fixes it. Hoo-ha, the whole world works, kumbaya. You can do that for dryers too. Apparently one kid put a slip of paper onto the washer.
Washer 3 doesn't dry out cloths, leaves cloths very damp after.
Well, dump, I decided it to damp. I would assume so. You just described a washer. That's a washer. It comes out wet. It's a freaking washer. That's why, if you look to your right, the entire wall is full of dryers. Meant to dry your clothes after they've been washed. Because that's what it's designed to do. It's supposed to come out wet and damp after a washer. Oh my goodness. Kids, it's what it's designed to do. It's like AC blasts cold air. there's a problem when the air conditioner makes the things colder than it does hotter. This also kind of continues into comp sci. As probably most of you that know me, kind of, I'm pretty advanced. I'm pretty technologically out of the box at best. So I've taken a number of computer courses in high school. Done a whole bunch of stuff with computers at home, just kind of learning on myself, because what the heck else am I going to do at home except for like watch movies and watch YouTube and like clean my room? Well, I guess that's not true. I have lots of things to do at home, but I'm pretty good with computers. That's the only thing I can really brag about in my life. Not because I suck at life. It's just really hard for me to brag about stuff in life. Even that, it's kind of difficult because everyone has their own like little I guess perspective on how good you should be with computers. Anyway, I have to take CS1 or Comp Sci 1, which is the very basics, because AP Comp Sci only counts for CS2, because that's what Java is taught in. In CS1 they teach C++ or Python, and stupid me learned Python all over the I guess not completely stupid, but I learned Python over the summer break, just so I could probably test out of CS1. It's a still good language to know, and even if you're not into computers, it's still a good language to know, just because it makes a whole lot of things so much easier, and you can automate a whole bunch of stuff with Python, and it's amazing, but it's kind of slow, for mathematical computing. Anyway, enough of that. I learned Python instead of C++, so I kind of rolled the dice there. I really should have kind of learned both, because it's not that hard to learn CS1 material, since most of it's basic concepts like what's a while loop. We spent a whole week learning print statements, which is pretty much just like not printing. I guess it's what it is, but displaying text into like a terminal. Pretty much the black screen with the white cursor and the white text. That's a terminal, and you print it to the terminal because it's a lot easier to write one line that just says your program works, or like this number, instead of having to create this whole interface and stuff for a simple program that just like multiplies 3 numbers, user inputted numbers, because that's, yeah. So you see, I guess that's why a lot of hackers use it, because they don't really want to take the time to write in a whole fancy interface that looks really good, when the terminal just works fine for what they're doing, because it's mostly back-end stuff. It's the lowest point of entry of front-end development is the terminal. Anyway, and it's difficult to use if you don't know how to use it. Anyway, but when you display text onto the screen, you print it. You pretty much just print it on the screen. That's what it's called. If you want to put 5 on the screen, you print the number 5. That's the term. So halfway through, and that's like CS 101 week 1. We spent a whole week on print statements, and halfway through the semester, the kid had the balls. To ask in front of the class. He wasn't joking. He had the balls to ask the teacher, "Hey, what if my printer back in my dorm doesn't work? Will I still be able to use print statements?" And this kid was a legit serious, 100% serious. Halfway through the semester, it's like a month and a half at least, month and a half to 2 months of material of printing stuff through the screen. Has he not like ever seen a term on the worksheets that he has to do every week? Consequently enough, the one kid in class. The one kid in class who used the light theme in Discord, which you have to go out of the way to use, and it's just blinding. It's just like dark theme is 100% better in everything, no matter what. He has to go out of his way to use a light theme on Discord. When I say I'm playing chess with babies in college, that's kind of what I mean. One of the best ways to kind of start conversations, if you're really horrible at starting conversations, kind of like me. One of the best ways to break that ice, I said break the ice. Oh, I sound like an elementary school teacher. Break the ice. Smiles are good icebreakers. Without being cliche or creepy or whatever, is to don't write your name on the name tag. Write something different. Not just be logical about it. Be logical and ethical and about it, Don't write like penis on it. Okay, that's not really a good. That's not a good one. What a good one is like the elephant in the room, or like smooth operator, or like awkward and uncomfortable. Because these type of name tags, first thing it does, you have to greet the person, or they have to greet you, and you have to say your name, and they probably should say your name when you greet them, so then they can remember your name, and it's not a crutch. See, name tags, I feel like, are a crutch in today's society, which is fine in some social scenarios where it's kind of like, okay, you need to quickly know everyone's name in the room by conversing, kind of like adult brunches or whatever. It's like kind of like, oh, you don't know your names? Well, you gotta wear your name tags or something. But name tags, so I decided the first week, I felt like writing my own name on my name tag, oddly enough, the thing that was supposed to be used for, was too cliche, apparently. So I didn't get invited. I just kind of went to this kind of like corn rally thing toward the beginning of the year. It was like the first week. It was like this get together for crew and whatever, where it's kind of like meet all the new people and eat some corn on the cob while you're at it. Okay, fine. It's in Wisconsin, whatever. I'll go to it and be social, fulfill New Year's resolution. So I go there and you have to pay $1 for the corn, which is expected. I don't expect them to make 100 ears of corn and have us not pay for it. I guess it's $1. Okay, I can spare $1 for them to not lose a whole bunch of money for something, for just one night of get together and what is it? What is the stupid thing that's in every grad party? The cornhole and the ladder rung thing, which I'm amazing at because I've been to 100 grad parties and I live in Minnesota and Wisconsin, but apparently everyone else there is amazing too, except for the people who you can tell that they're not from the Midwest. Anyway, so I go there and it's like, write your name on the name tag, and I don't write my own name. I write awkward and uncomfortable because it's kind of, I don't know why I said that. Because I ranted about a month earlier about some person who I actually don't really know anymore. I never really knew, who had to go on stage for some skit or something and had to hold up a sign that says, I'm socially awkward or whatever. And it's kind of counterintuitive when you go on stage and kind of hold up a sign that says, I'm socially awkward. Not as a joke. As a joke, it's kind of funny, but this is not as a joke. So it's kind of not really funny. It's just kind of confusing. Because, well, you kind of drawing more attention to you and letting people to know that, hey, you're socially awkward, but if you just kind of sat there and didn't really say anything or didn't really do anything, it actually wouldn't be a big deal because everyone else was kind of like sitting there not really doing anything while what the main person was doing the skit anyway. So it's kind of, so in hindsight, me writing awkward and uncomfortable on my name tag was kind of confusing. So I went to the party, or what, I don't know, what does the party? No, get together. Whatever, so go there, meet some people. Because everyone there is still meeting new people too, with all the new freshmen that are coming in. And of course, I don't really look like a freshman because I'm 6'4", and everyone there is like 5'8" or 5'10", because apparently people are small in Wisconsin. Oh my goodness! And people in Wisconsin do not know how to design bathrooms, anyhow whatsoever. It's still better than Joann's bathroom. We'll get to that later, but anyway. So yeah, go there. And people, it hit. It was a good hit. Writing that in my name tag because people had to go up and had something to kind of laugh about. Then we like met personally, like face to face. Got to know each other more than if I just wrote my name on my name tag and people were like, "Okay, hi there, Ben. What's your major and where are you from? Name, city, major. And that kind of thing." And it's just kind of like, it just gets old, and I don't remember people as well, and I remember people by what they do, and I get in a conversation like, what do you do? What are your hobbies? What are your non-major related hobbies and stuff? And it's perfect. It's genius. Another good thing is I went to, so the same thing, it's in the evening, and there's of course there's corn. You can eat the corn. I ate like an ear of corn, I think, and I got bored with the corn and wanted to talk to more people and play cornhole and ladder rung, whatever. And there was a table food was like basic whatever get together food, like chips and cookies and lemonade and root beer and basic sodas, basic 2-liter sodas with cups and whatever. So I'm by the table and there's a group of 3 girls by the table. I see the 2-liter of lemonade, and all you cheer fans know what I'm talking about when I say, hey, we should label the food. Well, not the label the food part, but we should take the lemonade and make it Spanish. We should put the tenuto or the whatever accent it's called onto the end of the lemonade and make it Spanish. And to any normal human, that's kind of a weird, uncomfortable way of saying or thing to say to a group of people you don't know, especially to girls. But of course, it's not Ben and females without whole layers of complications. So at the table and I said that, and they kind of look at me like kind of confused, and so I keep going, and they look at me confused. So I keep going on like, well, if you what is that like squiggly thing over the end? Is anyone taking Spanish? I haven't taken Spanish, but I've been to Mexico once. What is that like? Is that like a tenudo? Or tenudo is a thing in music, but what is that squiggly thing we go on for this conversation about? Because none of us know what it is. Of course, we could look it up on our phones, and of course, I thought of that, but I didn't want to because I wanted to keep talking, because that's my whole goal. Goal of this thing is to talk to people, as long as possible without being uncomfortable. And of course, that being uncomfortable, I walked in and I'm uncomfortable. So we go into this long thing, and we all kind of laugh about it like at the end, and it just kind of like dispersed, and it's kind of like, okay, well, that was a good conversation. That was fruitful to our lives. And so I get my sparkling lemonade, and oh my goodness, that's good. I'd put sparkling lemonade up there with jalapeno lemonade. Jalapeno lemonade is like, it's got that sweetness, and then like right at the end, it just kind of like kicks a little bit. And it kind of bites, and it's good. If you ever go to Trader Joe's, it's another Trader Joe's thing. What do you expect? It's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's Trader Joe's. About a week later, like a week later, I'm in there helping audio with crew, because that's what I do. I'm the audio person for pretty much everything, because apparently people can't be freaked over to take 5 minutes online and learn how audio stuff works. Anyway, so I'm helping out with audio stuff, and they come up to me and ask me if I was that kid who asked if anyone had a Sharpie at the food table. I kind of stared and kind of like looked around a little bit, and just kind of gave in. It's like, oh yes I was. So then we all laughed about it, and we had another conversation with people, and that's how your uncomfortableness can add fruit to your life with conversation. And at the end of the 20 minutes, I thought, man, my methods are genius. And then it just kind of fell apart about 2 minutes later. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, you can use your uncomfortableness for your own good. You can make things more uncomfortable, and then that kind of tension kind of springs it up a little bit, and helps it make it less uncomfortable than it actually was originally in the situation. See, this is how you can control situations. This is how you can study people and like know how like people think, and how people talk, and people act, and what their intentions are, and what actually goes into actions and stuff. This is what you can do with your life, instead of just sitting around playing Fortnite all day, or Call of Duty Black Ops 4, or having a diet totally consisting of instant mac and cheese, Hot Pockets, really sugary cereal, with water as the milk, and Mountain Dew, and really expensive pizza, really cheap, expensive pizza from the market. You spend $10 on 4 slices of pizza, you're doing it wrong, unless it's like a Chicago authentic deep dish. My goodness, I'd pay almost anything for that. Not as much as Piata, as we can all tell, but anyway, I don't know, that's kind of college in a nutshell. Actually, here's college in a nutshell. My room at home is messy. I'm looking around it right now, and I even threw out like half of it over winter break. But my college room is very clean. It's very clean. You walk into it, and it's very neat and organized, and I have my computer all set up, all good and organized, and it looks all nice and just pristine. It's kind of like, I want to live in this area. I walk in my room, and of course, if it wasn't my stuff, my own stuff, and I wasn't comfortable with my stuff, I would probably walk in my room and say, I would not want to live in this room. Now, I understand my room at home isn't nearly as messy as some other people's rooms at home. Like I can see the floor, I can vacuum the floor, I make my bed every day. My desk space is fairly clean. I don't have a bunch of empty soda cans around. I don't have any just empty bottles or food wrappers or stuff. I do have papers just kind of like stuffed into places all around that I wanted to kind of keep, but I didn't really need at a moment. So maybe I should take a day and like kind of clean all those out. But it's not super messy. If an adult walked my room, I wouldn't be that embarrassed. You walk into kids' dorm rooms, and it's either the two ways. They're either pretty clean. It's not like neat freak kind of clean, but it's kind of like, hey, I take the extra 2 seconds
seconds,
to like put my wrapper in the trash can instead of just kind of like dropping it on the floor. And it's pretty neat. There's some messy parts of it, and that's kind of expected out of a normal human, and we need to accept that out of a normal human. There's gonna be some messy parts where it's kind of like, oh, there's a pile of pencils, kind of laying there because those are the pencils that you kind of use when you need to write stuff at your desk. And those are the pencils that you don't want to take with you because you don't want to lose them, but you have pencils with you in your backpack because that's the anyway. It's gonna be expected. You're gonna probably have like one article of clothing on your bed or like on the floor or whatever, and it's gonna be fine. You have one thing on your floor. Where it really gets out of hand is where you lift up a futon and you just see just wrappers upon wrappers upon wrappers of just stuffed under the futon. Just like it's just stuffed under there. Or like just like not even in the trash can, just kinda like dropped on the floor. It smells all funky. You open the door and it's just like this wave of funk just kind of like hits you, and you gotta stand it for like three seconds, just like, oh man, what just hit me? That's kind of why I leave my window open, and I feel like that's more of a me thing than my roommate thing, because my roommate is kind of the other way. You can definitely like draw a line in the middle of our dorm floor or our dorm room floor and see like, hey, this is my roommate's side and this is my side. He's the only one that uses the microwave. He's the only one that like ever cooks anything in the microwave. I've never seen him go to the commons, and you're required to have a meal plan as a freshman. So I don't know. Spending $10 on pizza a night is not really on half a pizza pie isn't really that worth it when you can just pay $2.50 at the commons and get like this whole like it's almost all you can eat. And oh man, it's okay. It's pretty. You can eat it. It's way better than high school. Let me tell you that. Everything there is pretty edible, unless you go to Kitchen Classics. It's a risk when you go to Kitchen Classics. Anyway, I'm okay with my roommate. He doesn't bring a whole bunch of people in. He keeps his stuff on. He doesn't mess with my stuff. I don't mess with his stuff. How the whole world works, and it actually kind of works. He doesn't make a lot of noise at night. In fact, he kind of goes to bed when I go to bed, which is kind of funny. He doesn't have any sense of going to bed until I go to the bathroom and like wash up and brush my teeth and whatever, and then I come back to my dorm and he's already in bed on his phone. And then I go to bed and I go to sleep, and haha, the whole world works. I usually wake up earlier than him, so I don't mess with his alarm, although he snoozes his alarm about 5 times on average. On a good day. One time I just kind of slept through my 8 a.m. and just kind of like, I don't need to go to this class. It's just a work day. I don't need to wake up, and oh my goodness, he has a lot of alarms. Anyway, that's not really an issue though, which is fine. I know a lot of roommates that are kind of like, are loud, like very loud at night. So I feel kind of grateful. Although he does make a lot of Hot Pockets, which kind of smells, which is kind of like, okay. Oh, overall, it kind of works because I can just leave the window open, leave the fan on, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I feel grateful. Maybe I'll think of more stories when I come back, or when I go back, and use my crappy microphone, because I don't want to bring my, it's not expensive. I just rather would not want to break it or have it being stolen while I'm at college, which is kind of less of an issue now because my roommate doesn't like, he only brings his girlfriend over, and for the longest time, for about 3 months, I didn't know if it was his roommate or his sister. It kind of blurred the line of both. Because they never like were like touchy feely with each other. They never kissed. They never made any noises. But they never like, they were very platonic in the way they kind of approached each other. They were never touchy feely. They never like shared food with the same fork, you know. Not all of these I would do if I had a girlfriend, but like things that like indicators that were like, okay, she's going out with him. But they didn't do any of that at all. They just kind of like watched Hulu, just kind of like sat in their own chairs, just kind of like sitting up, no slouching, no relaxing. It's kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of confusing. And they would like, you want to go to the dinner tonight? Okay, sure. And then they went to dinner. They went somewhere like Arby's or something, somewhere cheap. And I don't know. And for the longest time, I didn't know who it was when he first came and brought a girl with his mom, and I thought that was his sister. because his sister and I guess his girlfriend now that I know look very similar, which is kind of creepy. But so that left me confused for the longest time. And of course, I didn't want to ask him because we haven't spoken to each other since before mid-October when I told him, hey, I'm going to be gone for the weekend to go to a retreat. And he just kind of like nodded and kept playing Fortnite. It's like, okay. For the longest time, I didn't know if it was like his sister or his girlfriend. And it just left me very confused. Very confused. For 3 months. 3 whole months. And then then I just kind of like, I didn't really come to any conclusion. It just came to terms with myself more so that, okay, that's probably his girlfriend. And I won't bring it up, or I'll try to dodge the term of sister or girlfriend. I'll be kind of like confused or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's just kind of how it is, and it kind of left me confused for about 3 months. I'll kind of end this off with a story, with kind of a disgust story. A lot of my interesting stories are revolved around disgust. So that post Christmas pre New Year's kind of time, there's about a week where it's kind of like Christmas and New Year's, and there's that middle where it's kind of like where it's like you got the Christmas spirit, you got your Christmas gifts, but it's pre New Year's, so it's kind of not like you're in the cold winter and it's like just all boring. It's just like January is the worst month of all time. I feel like January is the worst month next to man, I don't know. It just January is the worst month because it's just like everything just seems dead, and it's kind of like which can be nice sometimes, but just kind of like no, January's dead. But the last week in Christmas I guess that's more the holiday season it's a good time. So we're going out. So my mom and my sister and I are going out. We're over in like Edina or something. I think there's a camera store over there, and we're looking for something for my sister and stuff. And we go to Target. I think we go to a movie. What movie did we go to? I think we went to Aquaman. Yeah. Of course, my mother said her favorite famous saying where she looks on the big screen, then she turns to me and says, "Man, this would look really good on a big screen." Thanks, Mom. So that happened, but after that we went to Joann's. I don't know why we have to go to Joann's. And Joann's is literally the worst place in the world. You walk into Joann, it's just like I think it's tuned or designed and tuned and like refined to be the worst place in the world. It just, you walk in and the floor is all musty. There's dust bunnies in every corner or every edge of the room. It's just black mold like on the edges of the room, and it's supposed to be arts and crafty, but it's like there's no airflow, and it just kind of like sometimes there's airflow, but sometimes not. It's just kind of like this dry, cold kind of thing where it's kind of like ugh, and it's just like everything there is like old, and I don't mean like a vintage old. I mean just kind of like it's like dollar store racks old. Like you walk in and it's just like it sounds weird, and you see the employees and they're kind of like, I feel like the employees are like the rejected librarians because they're too friendly, and somehow now they're like they just sat in Joann's for 4 hours a day for some time because they're mothers with children, but they have to make more money, and now they're in Joann's, and it's just kind of like and it's just like you have to wait so long in line for fabric just to get your fabric cut, and then you have to wait in line at the checkouts to pay for your fabric, and it's like, why not just pay for it then? Or it's I don't know, it's just the only reason it's in business is because it has things that a lot of other stores don't. Like you walk into Michael's and it's like it's cleaner. It's not perfect, but it's cleaner. There's some personality. There's good lighting in the room. You walk into Joann's, you feel like you're in a prison. I mean, actually, a prison would have more character to it than freaking Joann's. Like, come on, seriously, a sewer has more character than what Joann's has. It's just like Joann's reminds me of like that one teacher where it would walk up to you and like you try to avoid, because when they would always try to talk to you, and it's just like, so Ben, how was your day? How was your day? and just kind of like stare at you, and you have to say how your day was at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning, because they're trying to start a conversation with you, but they can't because they're incapable. Sounds like someone I know. They should wear a weird name tag. But they just seem exhausted all the time. That's what Joann's is. See, there's kind of a spectrum of like old and new. Okay, you got cutting edge new, and that's kind of like brand new technology, you know? Brand new CPUs. CES came out, or CES started about a couple days ago, and the brand new architecture of like AMD cards, or AMD card. The cards won't come out until mid year, but like the new CPUs, the Ryzen third gen, stuff like that. 2060, the RTX 2060, comes out in like 4 days. It's cutting edge. That is bleeding edge technology. With the same thing for like buildings, you got like glass floors, you got like, most things are like glass, got this Swedish kind of style of like minimalistic, but it has some character to it. That's kind of like cutting edge. Or that could even be like new, but it's kind of like, it's been here for a little bit. Kind of like 2015 stuff. Then there's kind of current. There's current, which is kind of like late aught stuff, It looks nice. It looks like it's been made in the last like decade or something, but it's just kind of like, but it's kind of like, okay, it's been here quite a bit. Then there's really really old, where it's kind of like, it's got that old style, that old brick buildings, it's kind of like it's been here a long time. It's got character. It's got that old like history to it. It's got stories. There's stories behind the fact that brick is missing. Like there's interesting stuff. Then there's Joann's, which kind of like divides the line, where it's kind of like, it's old, but it's a crappy kind of old, because it's just kind of like old and worn down. It has no character. It seems to ride that line for so many years for some reason. I don't understand it. It's kind of like that cheap old, where it's kind of like, I don't want to know why there's like a foot, like that square foot of just like weird, like hard dust. Just like that dust has been crusted over it. Oh, that's nasty. We're going to Joann's, and it's been 20 minutes, and I'm already feeling depressed about myself, and it's just kind of like, okay, Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom, because I gotta pee. After a whole movie and a whole Target, and then what's it called? Walking around the mall, and then going to Joann's for 20 minutes. I gotta pee. And she's like, okay, come back, whatever, whenever. The Joann's demographic is about 98% women. So there's no men, and of course the employees are the same way. So there's like no male employees. And there's no males that come into the Joann's unless they're dragged in by force by their mother. Kind of like how I was. So nobody ever cleans the bathroom. Let's just put it that way. And so I don't want to touch the handle. So I kick the door. And it swings in. And I look in. And the sink is still dripping, big drips of water. There's mold all across the sink. It's just kind of like, the sink handle is just like gross, and like, how does it get that gross? But the sink spout is like, how does it get that gross? And then the sink handles, you can tell the thumbprints where people press their thumbs, and it's just like the mold is around that. You look at the floor, there's just like, even worse, there's some tiles missing with like black mold, just like emerging from the floor. You look at the urinal, and it's just kind of like, there's the whole bottom of the urinal and the floor is yellow. It's just a stained yellow. It's just and you look in the stall, and there happens to be both poop and blood on the toilet seat, around the toilet seat. There's no getting around that. The stall handle is missing. So you can't lock it. You can't lock it in any way, shape, or form. There's no toilet paper in the stall. The mirror is like chipped off and cracked for some reason. I don't know how. And the soap dispenser is like half off the wall. And you just look around and just like, there's no way I'm whipping it out right here. Even if I didn't wash my hands, there's no way I'm whipping it out. If it touches the air, I might catch a disease. And I use my foot to hit the handle down and kick it out, because I am not touching that handle. Oh my goodness. If someone like walked, if they don't, never mind. Oh my goodness. There's no part of that bathroom that seems clean at all. No part. Oh man. So I walk out, and I text my mom. I go next door into like Hirschfield or somewhere. and I text my mom I'm in there. Just to communicate with her. Communication is key, and and yeah, go in there, and it's not the cleanest, but my goodness, it's a lot cleaner in it. Oh man, it seems a lot nicer in a paint store. Anyway, there's not blood and crap on the toilet seat. Oh man, that was nasty. Oh, thank God for janitors. Oh man, have a janitor day. We did that in high school. We should just have that make a holiday. My goodness. Well, of course, there's no males in the bathroom, or no males in Joann, so they never really go into the bathroom and clean it. Let's just be honest. And of course, I went in Hirschfield's, and there's like nobody in Hirschfield's at like a Tuesday night at like 8 p.m. or something. Or was it 4 p.m. or 8 p.m.? I don't know. The point was there's not very many people in the paint shop. And the women's bathroom was open. And I kind of like, okay, look, because the door was open, because it wasn't like a typical public restroom. It was more like a single stall. And you close the door while one person uses the room. So it wasn't like there were going to be women in there. So I took a peek in there. There's couches and magazines in there, and a full array of mirrors and like flowers, and it smelled good. Like, why is my men's room? I guess it's not my men's room. It's a public room. Why is the men's room? It's just kind of like a cabinet, and there's a toilet and maybe a urinal, and the sink works, and the mirror is kind of small, but who cares? It works. And then the women's room is kind of like, there's magazines, there's like amenities, there's a full couch in there. There's the stall inside the private room with the sink. Why is this the thing? Why is this the thing? And of course, I made sure there were no women in that restroom. Like, the door was wide open, and it was a private restroom, so it was kind of like I had no chance, and there was nobody watching me. It was kind of like secluded part of the store. I made sure nobody was watching me, but like, man, it reminds me back when you had tornado warning, and we all had to go to the commons for some reason. And I was really hungry, and I really had to pee. And so they allowed like one person at a time into the women's restroom because our commons was under construction. You walk in there, and there's like this separate table and separate mirrors with like separate like cushioned stools in there, apart from the sink, which has the array of mirrors and the array of sinks, and it had really cushy like toilet seats and stuff, and it was really nice. And it's like, we never get that in men's room. Anyway, men's room works. It's fine. I'm glad we have urinals. We don't have urinals in our dorm bathroom, but okay. I should at least adding one urinal, even in the women's restroom, so it's like it's directional. Would be a lot better. It'd be a lot more sanitary. We wouldn't have to like pee with the seat up. And of course, kids after 18 years of experience don't know how to freaking aim at a toilet seat. After 18 freaking years of experience of like everyday peeing. My goodness, kids still don't know how to aim. Anyway, that is your local forecast of the weather up here. I have the week off, or I still have the week off next week. So keep your channel, stay on this channel and stay tuned. Don't switch channels.